Hello and welcome back. This is the second video in a short mini series of videos that I'm creating for you. And if you missed the first one, no worries. Just head back to the email that sent you here and I've got a link to the first video and you can just go on back and watch it. Now, I am so happy that you are here with me in this second video because I'm going to be sharing a super useful method with you that you are going to love. Things are not going to be the same for you after you watch this video. Now, in my last video, I shared my own story of realizing that I needed to follow a different pathway if I truly wanted freedom in my career and my life. And thank you so much for all the comments and questions that you have all been sending my way. It's been so awesome to read all your thoughts, and wow, I knew I wasn't alone in my desire for freedom, but even I was surprised at just how strongly many of you feel about this. So thank you for that. And just know that you are in the right place. Stick with me. I'm going to help you with this. I know the pain of feeling stuck and feeling trapped, and it's really not a good place to be, but I am going to show you how to get out of being trapped, and that is actually what today's video is all about. I call this method that I'm going to teach you about today the Spark Launch, and it is a method for getting started quickly on your new career path as a wellness coach without waiting, because I don't know about you, but I do not love waiting. And the thing about waiting for someday is, well, that day often doesn't come. And especially if you've got kids, those kids, they're just not going to wait for you to get your stuff together. They are getting older every day and opportunities are slipping by you every day, and that is the worst. So here's how the Spark Launch works. Now, let's say you do not have a coaching business right now, but you want to build one. First of all, your starting point is to identify your target market, as in who you can help with the expertise that you have right now and what problem can you solve for them. And I want you to think of what problem can you solve right now? As your business grows and develops and you increase your skills and your knowledge base, you will be able to help with a lot more problems in a lot more ways. But we're talking about the Spark Launch here. This is your starting point just to get you moving. So what can you do? Get out a notebook and a pen and start brainstorming ideas. What are your areas of expertise? Next, step 2 is to put together a very simple offer. Now, I'm not talking about building a course or creating a comprehensive group program or anything like that. You will definitely create those things inside your business eventually, but we're talking about getting started here. This is your Spark Launch. So all you need is a framework, just a basic outline of your offer. Focus on the starting point where your client is beginning, and then what is the outcome? What will be different for her at the end of working with you? And then I want you to decide what needs to happen to get her there. That is, that's basically your offer. So let me give you some examples to help give you just some ideas. So one of my mentorship clients, she came from the corporate world. She was partway through her health coaching training program, but it would be another 6 months or so before she would actually be done. And she wanted to start generating money now. So she put together a really simple offer, just a framework. In her own life, she was a master of meal prep. She was a busy working woman and she had learned how to prep for her whole week of meals just using a single focused day. And she had been doing this for herself every week for a while. She knew that she could teach other women how to meal prep for the whole week, just using one day a week on a Sunday. So she put together a super simple program. It was a framework for teaching anyone how to start meal prepping and to take back control of their schedule and not have to rely on ordering takeout. Now, another client of mine, she was coming from healthcare. She was a nurse, and she knew that she could help people to improve their sleep. That was something, working in a sleep clinic for a year, that she could do very easily. She had it down. So she knew her target. This was perimenopausal women who were suffering from insomnia and non-restorative sleep. And she knew that in a few weeks' time of meeting regularly and working on it, that she could make over their sleep habits. and their sleep routines. And by the end of it, they would be sleeping so much better, feeling rested and refreshed and energized. So I've got lots more examples to share, so stick with me. But right now I'm just going to move on to the next step in the Spark launch. We're going to keep moving forward. Okay, so once you know who you can help and what you can help them with and what your offer is going to be, now is the time to get out there and start inviting everyone you know. So what you're going to say is, do you know anyone who would be interested in this? What's beautiful about this is that it's a sideways sales pitch. It's kind of a soft sell approach, because until you learn more sophisticated sales techniques, I'm guessing that you may not be super comfortable with sales, and you may be sensitive to coming across as salesy, which is fine. And that's why this question is so beautiful, because you're describing who you help and how you can help them, and then you're simply asking, do you know anyone who would be interested in this? Somebody who could use this. Many, many times when my clients and students have used this particular approach, the person that they have asked this question actually comes back and says, yes, actually me, I could use that. And then the conversation continues from there, of course. But equally, a lot of times people will give that some thought and actually come up with a couple of names of people that they know who they can then refer to you. And it works so well because most people naturally love to be helpful, especially women. We just love to be able to recommend things and connect people up. We're just kind of wired that way, really. Okay, so with our Spark launch, so far you know who you can help, what you can help them with, what your offer is, and the framework of your program, and you have got a plan for getting out there and making invitations and also encouraging referrals. Next, you need a couple of structures in place. You need a very simple client agreement and a simple way to accept payment. And many people just use PayPal for this first offer, and then you're ready to get started. Now, there is one other option here, and especially if your initial response is really positive, you might actually choose to put together a small group, like a beta group program for your Spark launch. For most of my clients and students, I usually recommend starting out your coaching practice doing one-to-one work, like private work with clients, because it's a really great way to get started. However, under the right circumstances, you could structure your Spark launch to be in the form of a small, intimate group. It really depends on the nature of your offer and what your current pool of influence is, but I have had several clients start out this way. So let's take a sec to talk about how this would work and how you're actually going to deliver this particular program. Now, the most important thing here is that you do not need to spend months putting together a group program before you can offer this. In fact, all you really need to do is just stay 1 week ahead of your group and you run it live as you go. So let's say that you've got a very loosely created 6-week curriculum, but you can absolutely tailor it to the needs of the group participants as you go. So you start by scheduling a very simple group session each week, a live session as a Zoom meeting, and you can plan to teach, or you can lead a group discussion, or really whatever you want to do. And then you get the ball rolling with a Kickstarter session to welcome everybody into the group. And then each week as you go, you get feedback from the group, which helps you to put together the content for the next week. Once you have done your Kickstarter session, then you, like I say, survey the group participants. You ask them what their top questions about the next topic are, and then you structure that session around those issues. Your job is not to get on the session and answer every question ahead of time. You want to go through the responses and group them into themes and rewrite them into good questions that you can actually expand into teaching points. Then put them into a logical and compelling order. And really, once you've done that, you are ready to get on the Zoom meeting and give a really great presentation. After that first call, you send out another survey and you can create a simple handout to go with each week. And then you just continue to get lots and lots of feedback as you go. You can record each session and you can even have those recordings transcribed so that you have a written transcript of the session. And then as the 6 weeks concludes, you've basically created an entire program. And that program can serve as the seed or the spark of your new signature program. And in fact, your whole business. Basically, you are building a program to perfectly match what your market really wants. And along the way, you're getting deep insight into your market and how to talk to your market. And that is going to pay off when it comes time for you to do your first big launch of this program. So I hope that you can see how a Spark launch is a simple, fast, and flexible way to get started. And of course, from there, you can build your empire, but you've got to start somewhere. The goal of a Spark launch is not to make 6 figures out of the gate, but to get you in the game. It's to help you create a great program and learn even more about your market as you do that. And that is what's going to set you up for a much bigger launch later on. Now, let me give you a couple of examples to help illustrate how this whole thing can work. Back to my client who put together the meal prep offer, who I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. So once she put together that framework, the program for taking busy professional women through her framework of teaching them how to meal prep, she reached out to everybody that she knew, everyone in her personal network, a number of different groups and associations that she was a member of, her professional networks, and she made the offer and the invitation. She said she was really excited to be launching this program, and did they know any busy working women who would be interested in learning how to meal prep to, so that they could shave a bunch of time off of a busy week and get rid of a bunch of stress every week and save money because they wouldn't have to depend on takeout, and of course, eat much healthier in the process too. So with that single outreach campaign, she enrolled 6 women into her pilot program. Not only did it totally validate for her that she was completely on the right track and there was a legitimate market for this kind of service, it also gave her some seed money, and it also gave her that added push to create the materials and the content for the program because there were real live people who were going to be taking this program. Although, as I recommended, she simply created the program 1 week at a time, just stayed 1 week ahead. She did 1 session per week. For 4 weeks, she created a small, intimate Facebook group for sharing and support, and she walked them through her process, just 1 step at a time. Each week, she created the content, a few handouts with some recipes and shopping lists, and then she recorded everything, and boom, she had a course created by the time she was done. Nice and easy, right? Okay, so another client used this Spark launch method to create a program to help teach stressed out moms to find calm amid the chaos, because she had personally transformed her life a few years ago, going from being a hot mess to creating a much calmer and in control daily life. Even though she had 4 kids at home, she felt confident that this was really something that she could help other women with, even though she had never actually been paid to do it. So she followed the formula, she knew her target market, and she created a framework for a 6-week program that would help an overwhelmed mom to reclaim control. And she chose to offer it as a private program, not a group offering for this situation. And she pulled together a list of about 100 people that she knew in some way from her personal inbox, her social media, various other connections, and she sent out a massive number of emails just to everybody that she knew or had in her circle of influence. And within a week, she had 3 new private clients who had said yes, and she was able to start supporting them right away and leading them through her framework. Okay, so I hope that these give you some ideas. The point is to get going way before you think you're ready, because to be honest, you probably have everything you need to get started right now. Now, this is a complete business plan? No, of course it's not. This is just the spark. From there, of course, you're going to want to expand and refine and create a much more robust marketing and business plan. There's also a good chance that you're going to want to up-level your skills and your knowledge once you get started. But this gives you a little seed money. It gets you out there working with some people and refining your process a bit, and starts building your tribe, which is so important. Now, I may have got your wheels turning a little, thinking about how you could use this very simple system yourself, but if you're like most people, a few concerns have started immediately cropping up. Many people at this point, they think, I can't get started or make any offers because I don't have a website yet. And to that, I want to tell you that you do not need to have a website for this. Websites are awesome and a necessary thing when you are building an online business, in my opinion, but you don't need one right out of the gates. I have seen a lot of people waste a ton of time in the beginning designing and creating a website. They teach themselves, usually they spend days working on it or more, and then there's a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it, and in the end they don't really love it, and what's worse, it just doesn't bring them any money or clients or anything because nobody knows that it's actually there. The thing is, a Spark launch is something that can happen before you build your website. Okay, moving on. Another concern a lot of people have is that they say that they don't know anyone who would be interested in working with them. And if that's the case, if your target market is really narrow and specific and you simply do not know anyone who fits your criteria, that's completely okay, because I want you to ask yourself, is it possible that they know somebody who would be interested in your offer? You bet they do. And if you put the offer in front of them, there's a good chance that they will forward it to their friend. That is what happens a lot of the time. And just don't take yourself out of the game because you can't think of anybody off the top of your head who would say yes to this. Don't make people's minds up for them. Create your offer, send it out into the world, and let people make up their own minds. Another thing that I commonly hear is, I don't have the time for this. And I'm just going to dispense with this right now. You do have the time if you make it a priority. You might need to scale back on a few things in your schedule that aren't as important, but the beauty of this system is that it is super quick and easy to put together. I have had many clients who are moms working full-time jobs and have all kinds of responsibilities. All you need is to create the framework, outline your offer, send some emails to your network, and then choose one day per week to deliver your content. You may need to get a bit creative, but you can likely find this kind of time. And it is so worth it because it gets that momentum going and it can instantly create a new income stream. Okay, so that is the Spark launch in a nutshell, a really brief overview of all of the elements that you need to launch your starter wellness coaching business way sooner than you ever thought possible. It is simple, it's fast, and it's flexible, and it sets the stage for much more growth and much bigger launches to come in your business. It is the perfect way to dip your toe in the water. Plus, like I said, learn about the hopes and the dreams and the fears of your target market. Okay, coming up in a few more days' time, I've got another video for you, and this one is how to go to the next level, how to put everything together, how to take that desire for freedom that we talked about in the first video, and how to actually create that freedom for yourself. This is the bigger picture, the complete plan for how to actually map out your escape plan so that you can actually design the life of your dreams. The stuff that I talked about in this video, in the Spark launch, it's to get your juices flowing and to really show you how you can begin to get in the game. But next, I'm going to talk about a roadmap, not just for dipping your toe in, but how to create a whole new lifestyle for yourself. I'm so excited to share that with you. Okay, that is a wrap for today. And now, as always, I would love to hear from you. Let me know, what came up for you after watching this video, what your thoughts and what are your questions, anything that you would like to talk to me about along this topic. Head over to Instagram. You can find me at Dr. Kim Foster and go ahead and tag me in a post or message me or find me on Facebook at Dr. Kim Foster. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching and have a terrific day, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye for now.